Alright people, Catfish Dave here. It is Saturday in East Tennessee, middle of June. These fish are now in transition stage. I was getting them all up on the flats, anywhere from 15 foot to 30 foot flats. Doing really well, getting about one good fish per trip. And I was on the way to a flat that I haven't fished. And of course I'm going to watch my graph, because these fish, things can change overnight, and I am now marking fish in the channel. So what we've probably got going on is the transition phase from fish coming off the nest, getting off the flats. They're working their way into the channel. It's probably about 50-50. I would probably do just about as good on the flat as I would in the channel. We're just going to start right here. And I'm not on the ledge or nothing. I'm literally in the middle of the channel, and I'm seeing fish on my screen. So I've got quite a bit of bait in here. I got one skipjack, couple small yellow bass, a white bass head. I've got gizzard shad. I've got a couple frozen trout. I've even got some pork chops. I mean, we got bait, so we're gonna throw it and work our way upriver here. If the wind cooperates while I'm out here deep, I'll probably suspend a bait or two as well. Start out with some skipjack, center rod. We're just going to throw something of each on each rod here. Throw a small piece of yellow bass. The reason I'm throwing small pieces is the yellow bass are small. It's kind of like white perch, only the Tennessee version. We're going to go with some gizzard shad on this left rod. I'm going to drop one suspended bait for now, and we'll just see how it plays out. Put on some fresh shad. First hook up on the yellow bass. Small fish. Got a lot of line out when you're planer boarding over deep water. Tell you what, y'all, this small fish stole my piece of yellow bass. There is no shortage of these things in this lake right here. You get harassed by thousands of these before you ever find a 30-pounder. So this one's going to be bait. One good thing about using catfish for bait is the smaller fish won't hardly touch it. If you get anything at all, it'll be a bigger cat. So I'm going to keep that. These lakes here have a very imbalanced population compared to the larger fish and smaller fish. We just got hooked up on the skipjack there. So a little better sized fish there. And there went my skipjack piece. We don't have a lot of that. On the gizzard shad head. There we go. Gizzard shad head. I wondered how well that gizzard shad was going to do, because that's what I got the most of in the cooler. This is pretty much the easiest time of year to catch catfish. We got one on the yellow bass head because they have been on the nest. They're coming back out now, getting fattened up, and they are extremely hungry. You can just about throw anything and get them. We may throw a piece of pork chop on before the day's over. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That fish is pulling some drag there. Drag puller. On the skipjack chunk. Get a little less chance of getting those two tangled up. Still gonna try. Still gonna try. Woo! There he is. Yeah, that's a good fish right there, boy. Good. Come on now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the heaviest fish I've caught since the post spawn is starting right there. Woo! No, 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 not all over my bait. Not all over my bait poles, man. Come on. That's why I don't like to keep my skipjack rods in while I'm fishing. These big fish will get on them and bang them all up. You got to pick them up and they just fall apart. So fish is tearing everything in the boat up. Yeah, that's a fatter one. Yeah, good head on it. Yeah. Woo! On the skipjack chunk. That's what we got the least of. Well, the dragon rods are doing well. I've had 2 small fish mess with the suspended bait. They just didn't commit to it. There's another one I ought to use for bait, or take it out of here and put it in another lake like Douglas. I guess I'll let him have that shad head. Maybe it'll make him put on some size. Either way, the suspended bait ain't doing worth a dang. Another bait size, boat flipping size. You can boat flip these. Like I say, them bigger ones are 1 in 1,000 fish in this lake. I don't think I'm gonna give this one the bait. I'm not losing all my bait to fish this size. Open it up. Yeah. I wish they had some kind of chute that led from here to Douglas Lake and I could just throw all them and it shoot them on over there. Time for some bumblebee on the run, tuna salad, and probably a piece of cheese for dessert. Land O'Lakes cheddar. That title's kind of contradicting itself. Is it Land or Lakes? It says Land O'Lakes. It's one or the other. My guessing this stuff is made on land. I seen that rod a-bouncing, and I just assumed that was a bite. Alright y'all, I am riding right along the channel ledge right now. And I'll just go ahead and tell you that all my bites are coming way off the ledge. They're out there just slap in the middle of the river. That's where we got our first fish. That's where I got the biggest fish. All this fish are on the ledge stuff all the time. That's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. They use the whole river at one point or another. Now I have seen them stack on the ledge, and I mean just stack. And that's the only place you can catch them. But I've sure caught a bunch of them slap dab in the middle of the river. Or shallow up on the flats. Or way back in coves. These fish use the whole river system. They don't necessarily see a hole and say, hey, that's a hole, let's congregate here. They could care less really, because this whole river system has everything they need to survive. The water's 54 foot right here. Why be in this 70-foot hole? You know, 50 foot's deep enough. They can go that deep. I've seen them go 100 foot. But it's never a guaranteed thing. You've got to scan the water, you've got to cover the water, and you got to find the fish. No shortage of small fish in this lake. And so far today, the suspended bite sucks. I've had it get hit 4 or 5 times, but nothing will commit to it, or nothing big enough. I've got a center chunk on that suspended rod, and it hasn't caught jack squat. So let's put it on the dragon rod and see if it catches jack squat. I want to actually catch jack squat, not just talk about it all the time. Since the ledge ain't putting out jack squat, we're going back out into the center. That was a hard hit. Are you drifting downriver?
Yeah, I'm going down a trolling motor. We're trying to just
Okay.
do its natural thing.
I'll steer over this way. Yeah, that's the...
I'm going to ask you a question. Did you fall out with Mad Cat?
I wouldn't call it a falling out. I mean, I ain't got no issue with Matt Knight, you know.
Okay.
I needed a, I wanted stouter rods for suspending and for dragging on these boards. And they just wasn't stout enough. Now, like this bait behind the boat, it's okay, you know what I mean? But on them boards with all that extra line and angle, and then on them suspended baits, no, they just don't hook up them really monster fish. They got that big tooth patch that wide, and it's trying to hit the top, you know, when you're on that suspended bait. So you need something that really don't give much, you know. Another small one.
Yeah. When you reckon they'll go off the net?
Ah, they're coming off now.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, a week ago you couldn't find a fish in the channel hardly.
Yeah, I was over here a couple weeks ago and barely caught anything.
They were all up on these flats. If you'd been up on the flats and 20 to 30 foot, you'd wore them out. There's still a few up there, but they're definitely transitioning out here now.
I seem to do better right now anyway. I've been doing better on shad than I do on skipjack.
Yeah, the biggest one I caught today was on skipjack. I've got skipjack, I've got shad over there, I've got yellow bass on that rod. Are your baits thrown out or are they straight down?
We're straight down.
Okay, I won't get you then.
He was asking, my brother was asking me what those boards was. I was telling him that allows you to kind of cover more area.
Yeah, you're fishing about 12 foot wide and I'm fishing about 40 foot wide.
Yeah.
And I can go wider if I let more line out.
See, you got one.
On the nest, or if you catch them, you're probably going to have to anchor down at night.
Is it safe to say probably right now from all of these fish are going to be in deeper water? You're getting the deep.
Yeah, they're going to be deep once they come off that nest. Yeah, plenty of these around here. Well, the center section of shad got hit on the planer board and actually caught something on that suspended rod. It ain't getting jack squat. I'm going to go ahead and pull it in the boat out of my way. Like I say, I'd like to actually catch jack squat. I was in a bit of conversation there. I'm going to check this yellow bass head. It got that really hard smack. And that's why we're not catching jack squat on it. You got to have bait on the hook if you want to catch jack squat. I've got this old white bass head I'm going to put on there. That'll attract a big fish. Moby Dick will want to eat that. If we can't catch jack squat, maybe we can catch Moby Dick. Well, this is on that white bass head. It sure don't feel like Moby Dick. And my white bass head is gone. That's it. That was the only one I had too. Old spawned out, scratched up fish. There goes Gilligan. With Gilligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star. Woo! I'll tell you what we're gonna do, y'all. On that right board, I've got a piece of frozen rainbow trout. I got one yellow bass left, no more white bass. I'm gonna put a piece of this trout on there. Old frozen rainbow trout. If the waves stop long enough for me to get a hook in it, it's still froze solid. Let's chunk it out there and let's see what eats it. We're going to get the suspended bait out of the way. It ain't caught jack squat all day. Yeah, we got one on there. Every now and then you'll see a boat out here. The gizzard shad center section catches fish on the dragon rig. I think this is about the third one I've caught on the center section. I believe it's caught more fish than any other bait out here, although the skipjack chunk did get the nice fish of the day. We'll have to see what hits that trout, if anything. We're just cruising slap dab up the middle of the channel. No ledges, no humps, no bumps, just working our way up the river. That's what the fish are doing, so that's what we're doing. I don't know what kind of fish that was, but it came out of the water pretty good. This rod here hadn't gotten a bite in a while, and I said I better check my bait, and it had this small fish stuck to it. This fish here gets the smallest fish of the day award. There's no shortage of that stuff around here. Let's put a piece of pork chop on there. Just messing around. Hey, why not? It's post-spawn. These fish will eat anything. see if this trout is still on here. It got hit pretty good. And it is not on there. When you're not getting no bites, you better be checking your rods. We're eventually going to catch one on this trout. Frozen trout. Too many of these around here. I would use that for bait, but I already got one in the cooler. You want to give me my bait back on the skipjack chunk? Well, we got one on the pork chop. That trout got hit again, probably got knocked off. Yeah, good old pork chop. Old pork chop fish. We've caught fish on yellow bass, white bass, gizzard shad, skipjack. Now a pork chop, waiting to get one on that frozen trout. Oh, we got one on the trout. These fish will eat anything this time of year. It don't matter what we throw them. Old frozen trout. Oh, just got another bite on the pork chop. another pork chop eater. That's 2 off the same piece of pork chop. I'm not going to be able to stay out here too much longer. This is my last piece of cheese. That's a better fish there. All on the skipjack. Just missed one on the pork chop, trying to land this one. That's a better fish for this lake. Fat fish, but you see how many small fish you got to go through before you finally run into one of these around here. There's a old wide-headed male. Yeah, good wide head on him. Fat fish. But we had to catch a bunch before we finally got him. All right, y'all, we ain't been out here that long, but I'm just tired of reeling these things in. It gets tiresome after a while. Plus all the boat traffic and waves. Caught a couple decent ones today, and we caught them in the channel. I was getting about 1 decent fish per trip up on the flats, shallower water. 2 weeks ago, the channel was dead. We caught a lot of fish in the channel, 2 better ones. So the post-spawn bite has really begun here, and it'll get better. There's still fish on the nest. It'll probably be, about the 1st of July before it's just wide open. But either way, 1 in 1,000 fish to get that size. We got a couple of them today. We caught these fish on 5 or 6 different kinds of bait: white bass, yellow bass, skipjack, shad, trout, even pork chops. The only thing I didn't use was that catfish in the cooler, but that's coming soon. Right now I'm gonna go get me some lunch and try to round up some more skipjack. I'm pretty much out of that. Either way, this is a video. There was fish in the video. That makes the fishing video. This is Catfish Dave with another one, signing out.